What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at the Miss Marvel Hero Pack. We have, I believe, reviewed all the other hero packs. If we haven't, I'll definitely get to them very shortly. But we've not yet actually had a look at the Miss Marvel Hero Pack. I feel bad about that. So let's have a roll, shall we? So, starting off, how about we take a gander at Miss Marvel herself? Now, Miss Marvel actually has really bad stats. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 1 defense, all low. Hit points of 10 low, although we've got ways around that, we'll see in a moment. Hand size of 5 is what we expect from a hero, not particularly good or bad. If we move over to Kamala Khan, we do at least have a recovery of 5, which is very high, and has a really nice ability whereby you discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a Miss Marvel card. That is one of the 15 cards with Miss Marvel in the bottom right hand corner, and then add that card to your hand. I really like Kamala Khan. Really nice recovery, really nice skill. I don't like Miss Marvel. Now, the response says after you play an attack, thwart, or defense event, you exhaust Miss Marvel and return that event to your hand. Now, on the one hand, you get to use good events multiple times. That could be awesome. On the other hand, I suppose you might as well use it because your stats are terrible. Look, it's fine. There will be times you can use this. But a lot of the events we really like here are expensive so that you can guarantee you've got it next turn, but you're not using it multiple times this turn, and that's what kind of gets me. I am not a fan of the hero itself here. I do love Kamala Khan. I think as an alter ego, she's phenomenal. Do not like Miss Marvel as a hero. I don't find myself using the skill very often, and when I do, it's so I can have it for next turn, and none of the stats are particularly impressive. The good news is there are some good cards that Miss Marvel does have. Now, Miss Marvel, and again, when we're reviewing these, we're generally looking at the out-of-the-box deck. Miss Marvel, it's all about dodging damage and dealing cheeky damage. Now, my favourite card probably here is Wiggle Room. It's got a hero interrupt defense. When you would take any amount of damage, you prevent free of that damage and draw a card. A lot of the time, this will end up meaning you don't take any damage, and then you get to draw a card to replace the Wiggle Room you just played. That's really good. Of course, if you play too many cards on the villain part of the turn, that is going to that's going to hurt, because then you're not going to have any cards for your turn. Boo! So I do like Wiggle Room a lot. And there is a set of free personas that Miss Marvel has that really are good, but they're all alter ego actions. And as we'll see in a minute, her events and upgrades and stuff tend to be hero actions. And it really does start to confuse what mode you're supposed to be in. Now, Amir Khan is a 1-cost support, not the boxer. It's got an alter ego action whereby you exhaust him, place any card from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck, and draw a card. This is phenomenal. Firstly, it puts any card you want back into your deck so you can draw it before running out of your deck. Good. Secondly, it's a 1-cost card that lets you draw a card every turn when you're in alter ego mode. Love it. Bruno Corelli is a 1-cost support, and it's got an alter ego action. Again, has to be an alter ego action, where you exhaust Bruno and attach any card from your hand face down. And then it's got an action, does not have to be in alter ego mode, whereby you exhaust Bruno Corelli and put up to 3 cards attached to him into your hand. Now, this is really good if you, say, stash a bunch of cards you want to use in hero mode and then get them back later on, and this will lower your hand size, bearing in mind you draw until your hand size at the end of your turn. So that's really nice. I like this one. And then you've got Nakia Badir, and it's got an alter ego action again. It's a support card. You exhaust her, and you reduce the cost of the next card you play this phase by 1. Yeah, you just literally get to reduce the cost of any card by 1. They are a great trio of support cards. but you use them in alter ego mode. And remember, alter ego mode we like. 5 recovery, really good skill that finds you these cards more quickly, though do remember when you run through your deck you have to deal an encounter card, so running through your deck too quickly can come back to haunt you. I love it. But therein lies the rub, because if we start looking at the other Miss Marvel cards, we end up with a bunch of really good hero cards. Big Hand is a 2-cost event that deals 4 damage. Sneak By is a 2-cost event that removes 3 threat. And I've talked a lot in these videos about wanting to be able to deal damage and remove threat. We got good options for each. I've already mentioned how good Wiggle Room is. Again, it's a hero card. Biokinetic Power Suit. Hero resource, you exhaust it to generate any kind of resource for an event only. But still, you're getting extra resource, so that's good. Shrink is a 2-cost upgrade whereby when you play a thwart event in hero mode, you exhaust it to reduce the amount of threat it removes by 2. So all of a sudden Sneak By doesn't remove 3 threat, it removes 5. That's pretty good. And Embiggen has a hero interrupt. When you play an attack event, you exhaust it and increase the amount of damage it deals by 2. So now if you're playing Big Hand, it doesn't deal 4 damage, it deals 6. So when we've got good options for thwart, good options for attack, and good personas to support, why do I feel uneasy every time I play Miss Marvel? And the answer is extremely simple. I want to be in alter ego mode so I can recover, so I can use my action, so I can take advantage of my personas that really are awesome. They're my favourite thing about Miss Marvel. And I want to be in hero mode so I can use all of these really good hero events. And I can't be in both, which is bad. Now you can flick between them, but you're only allowed to flip once during your turn. So you can flip every other turn, which means one turn you're in alter ego mode and then the next turn you're in hero mode, and I find I end up not doing enough of what I want to do, and you end up wanting to be in alter ego mode to use your personas and heal up, etc., but you've got a handful of hero actions. Or you're in hero mode, but what you really need to do is draw some more cards and reduce the cost of those cards, etc., etc. But you do that in alter ego mode. And for a while, for my first few games of Miss Marvel, I could not put my finger on exactly what it was that made me feel uneasy about playing this deck. But I played a few more games of it, and it struck me that I always want to be in both modes, and that makes me a little bit sad. Now, in the Miss Marvel deck, that is the 15 Miss Marvel cards, the ones you cannot change if you're playing Miss Marvel, you do get a signature ally, and it is Red Dagger. 2 thwart or attack with 1 consequential damage is good. 3 cost, 3 health is nice. When Red Dagger is defeated, you can spend 2 resources of different types, deal 2 damage to an enemy, and return Red Dagger to your hand. But then you're basically paying 5 to get Red Dagger out and do 2 damage. Bearing in mind Big Hands lets you deal 4 damage for 2, and then that actually goes up to 6 if you've got Embiggen. So I never find myself wanting to do this. I always find myself going, I can't spare the resources. Makes me a little bit sad. Now, elsewhere in the pre-constructed deck, we do have some nice cards. It is built as a protection deck, so you get yourself Preemptive Strike. Now, I love this one. It is a 1-cost event that when you're being attacked, lets you cancel all of the boost icons and deal that much damage to the villain. So if they deal 3 boost icons, instead they get 0 and you deal 3 damage. Love it. Energy Barrier has 3 reflection counters. It's a 2-cost upgrade. And when you would take any amount of damage, you remove a reflection counter, prevent 1 damage, and deal 1 damage, which is kind of nice. Now, we do also have Get Behind Me, which lets you, when a treachery card is revealed, you, instead of the revealed effects, make the villain attack you, which could be good, but could be bad, I'll be honest with you. Now, we do have Tackle here. Tackle is a hero action that lets you stun an enemy, but if you used a physical resource to pay for it, you deal 3 damage. 3 damage plus stun is pretty good. And we do have cards like the Power of Protection, which is 2 resources, but only if it's paying for a protection card. Otherwise, it's not going to work quite so well. So we've got some nice protection cards here, it's alright. The one I really like here is Nova. Now, Nova is a 4-cost free health, which does make it quite expensive. 1 fort for 1 damage is not good, 2 attack for 1 damage is. But with Nova, it's all about the interrupt. When an enemy initiates an attack against you, you spend an energy resource to deal 2 damage to that enemy. Oh. Yeah, that's really good. Against weaker minions, you can just take them out by paying a cost. Now, this does all add up. Sometimes you've got Nova, so you're paying for that, and you've got Preemptive Strike, so you're paying for that. And before you know it, you've actually ended up emptying your hand during the villain phase, and you've got nothing to use on the hero phase, which is kind of sad. And again, what we're really talking here is a bunch of hero stuff. Not Nova, but the rest of it, we're just talking heroes mostly. And that's awkward. Very awkward. Now, there is actually one other ally we do see here in the deck. It's a basic, it's Lockjaw. And I don't know what to think about Lockjaw. You see, Lockjaw is a 4-cost 4 health, which is about right. And you can thwart for 2 or attack for 2, which is awesome. But you got to take 2 consequential damage to do so, which is not. But you can play Lockjaw from your discard pile during your turn if you pay the resource cost, i.e. you pay the 4. So that's actually really good and I do like it. So I think it's one of those you'll have to make your own mind up on that one. I am also quite a big fan of Enhanced Reflexes. You put 3 energy counters onto a 2-cost upgrade and you exhaust it to remove 1 energy counter, i.e. you can only use it 3 times. But then generate a lightning resource, which is very, very cool. Then, of course, we've got Endurance, which is a card I alluded to earlier. You can only put 1 on each player, but you get plus 3 hit points, which, of course, is a very, very good thing, because it means that 10 health goes up a little bit. And we actually should mention Downtime. Downtime is also an upgrade that is limited to 1 per player, but it gives you plus 2 recovery, which gives Kamala Khan a ridiculous 7 recovery, which is a little bit silly. And I don't know where I sit with Miss Marvel. I enjoy playing Miss Marvel. I end up playing Miss Marvel quite regularly, but I don't know if I like Miss Marvel. There are too many times I want to be in alter ego mode and in hero mode, but then I want to be back in alter ego mode. There's lots of really good cards that can be used when you're Miss Marvel, but then all of your personas, etc. need you to be Kamala Khan in order to work. And I find it just becomes too awkward at times. I feel like it's far better as a support character rather than solo, and I do think playing solo it is one of the more awkward characters. But if you are in alter ego mode all the time, and you've got other players out there who are taking down the villain, it's probably not such a bad thing at all. Just as a quick note on the Nemesis here, we have got Thomas Edison. 3 health, 3 scheme, 1 attack. But it cannot take damage while you are engaged with another minion. So in minion heavy sets, think things like Mutagen Formula, Thomas Edison will be really brutal, and the free scheme is high, but when there aren't any minions out, you're going to be fine. It's not a particularly scary Nemesis minion. Like I say, if you're playing Mutagen Formula and there's like a million other minions around, it gets really awkward, and it is cannot take damage, not cannot be attacked, so you can't even get rid of it with cheeky damage. But as soon as there's no minions on the field, Thomas Edison becomes quite bad. I'm giving it an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill 3 Wossies. I don't think it's a bad set, but it is not my favourite to play, and I do think that it does suffer in solo play. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Marvel Champions and a bunch of other games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.